Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you all joining. Today on the show, we have Karn. Karn is the CEO of Vrahma. Karn, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining today and taking this time to connect with our audience. Please go ahead and introduce yourself and what you guys do.
Awesome. Thanks, Nilanjan. I appreciate this opportunity to have a conversation with you as well as your viewers. Vramha is a complete, comprehensive talent transformation organization. We go through from strategy to execution, designing, I would say, reskilling and upskilling pathways for employees, especially on the hard or core business skills, which enables us to keep up with the changes, business changes within the environment. So we have been in functional for almost 2.5 years now. In my previous roles, I was the head of workforce development with Cognizant. I spent 11 years there. And been part of multiple digital transformation and other journeys. I have overall 22 years of experience in management, consulting, as well as everything related to training. Way back, started with learning management systems and e-learning to blended learning and stuff, and then eventually progressed into, I would say, organizational transformation based on technology and talent.
Got you. Excellent. If you can just elaborate a bit more as to who are your customers and how it all comes together.
So we have a couple of use cases that we typically have. I mean, the talent transformation offering is a very, I would say, very widely used, especially with the current environment where technology and business changes are changing. I mean, happening at a rapid pace. The offering is core. I mean, the set of services that we have, which allows an organization to be prepared and ready to make sure that their employees are up to date for the changes and upcoming transformation. So, again, a quick background drop to it. A couple of years ago, actually around 2015 to 2018, there was a portfolio that I had been part of, which led to actually digital transformation within Cognizant, and that was basically, and we created a lot of pathways for people to be digitally certified and leading to higher billable rates. If you understand Cognizant is a large IT services company which has been there for over since 95. And they went through that rapid transformation for digital, and post that there were like business environment and political environment changing to create local skilled people. And so some of those programs is something which has been bundled up as Vrahma services. So we help people, organizations which are mostly mid-sized technology organizations or even in-house, I would say, technology teams of large corporate companies to reskill them with the latest and greatest skill sets that are needed to run the business. Some of them could be triggered even by implementation of things like ERP systems, whether it's SAP, Oracle, or MS Dynamics. We have supported organization in those journeys as well. In the suite of services that we have, obviously we work on strategy. We can do curriculum design, training pathways, whether it's e-learning, blended, virtual, or even in person. We have a large access to a large pool of facilitator and subject matter experts really spread out globally. Most of our customers are based out of US and India, but we've done work elsewhere as well. But the idea is that we use the pool of subject matter experts and the facilitator pool to custom design curriculums, because at this point of time there is a lot of content available. There are a lot of players. I don't want to take names, but content is available even on YouTube. But the value add or the magic that we bring is essentially a customization to the business requirement and running with that.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So tell us about a little bit about the name. I see that I think you like planets, and then name resonates with that. So please tell us how you came up with this name.
Yeah, I'm always mesmerized with the universe itself. It's so vast, so mystic, if I have to call it. So Vrahma, actually, when originally we started off, And thanks for that question. We started off as actually at a time when metaverse was a big thing,
Okay.
or rather the next big thing supposedly, and we really wanted to be a part to that change, and so we registered a company in the name of Vramha, and Vramha basically is amalgamation. Brahm at such is a Sanskritized universe. The word for the universe is Brahm, and a virtual is the V. So that's where the Vrahma came
Right.
in, and the first letters uh, VR. So it was essentially virtual reality, or virtual universe that we really wanted to create.
Got you.
However, when we realized that we need to pivot and go a little wider and expand our services, that's when we said that I think we'll continue with the name. But yeah, I think that's the quick backstory on how we got that name itself.
Wow, very nice. That was a great insight insight to that story. Yeah, and then it's a great thought, well thought out that the virtual and Brahma, very nice.
Thank
Uh,
you. I appreciate it.
so tell me a little bit about your journey, like what were some of your challenges when you started this, and that you would like to share.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is, I would say, a personal inclination. I've done my MBA in HR. I'm a computer science graduate by originally. Then I did my MBA in HR and IT. And post that I actually started off with a startup. Actually, at that point of time, so it was a startup, and it was in the a learning solution space. It was very new. We were like the next layer to the founders in the management, which allowed us to do a lot of good stuff. And it was deliberate at the time, like 22 years ago. Joining a startup of after MBA was not the coolest thing to do.
Right.
I mean, the obvious understanding at that point was maybe you didn't get a good placement. So, but I think that was not necessary. I mean, that was, I mean, one of the mentors actually had mentioned that if you want to learn about business, you need to go into a smaller setup or a startup, because when you really get your hands dirty, you understand, you go beyond the I would say structures of the organization, and lets you allow. So that stuck. That was my first role, and for about 8 years, I spent the journey till the company got sold and the founders exited, and then we also decided that I wanted to move out. And at that point of time, I realized that while I have the experience of working in a startup, but I really wanted to get a sense of how do the large organizations work, and getting that experience, even though you were consulting them, I didn't have the inside understanding of how and what it plays out. And that's when I started and briefly worked with the Tatas. Obviously, you're from India, so you would understand that is one of the big names. And then Cognizant happened, and Cognizant journey was very interesting because while it was a fairly large 100,000 plus at that point of time when I joined in 2012, but it worked as a startup, which essentially was quite amazing because there was a lot of autonomy, there was a lot of experimentation and support for trying out new things, which led me to originally thought that I'll spend about 2 years there. I ended up spending 11, and I think at that point of time, it was high time that I went back to what I really wanted to, which was create a setup which that's when there are a couple of other ventures started. But this Vrahma was essentially centered around talent transformation, primarily because I could sense that with AI, while the whole world and workforce is transforming, or world of business is changing,
Mm-hmm.
I think the big challenge will be how does the workforce keep up with it? Of course, AI makes things easier for the work that has been happening in the past, but in future, the work will be very different. And that is the opportunity. That's where I feel that we need a reskilled workforce to keep up with the AI tools and be more productive than what our current benchmarks are. So that's really where we want to be playing a role. And I think over a period of time, with most of my initial customers being word of mouth and people I knew and people I'd worked with, we did a few pilots, we did few projects here and there, and then over a period of time, we realized that there needs to be some steady set of services, which is what we have created along with some partners that I have who support me. But at the same point of time, our journey from here would be essentially structuring some of these productized services into products itself. And that I think is the story going forward. But so far, we've been trying to make sure that we understand the market, we have the services to take care of it, and we are growing with that input.
Got you. Got you. So, like, how tell us about how you found your initial client, or how, when you started this, like, how what were your challenges finding your first client or for your first business?
So I think the challenge was essentially first of all, I mean, I think we wanted to. I mean, there was obviously we started with the metaverse thing, and we built a back end team to support virtual reality and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But the moment we started getting feedback from the market, we had to quickly rethink our strategy.
Okay.
And the initial breakthrough came through some of the people that I've worked in the past who are with different other organizations, and they were supportive of what I was bringing to the table. And we worked a little bit for some of the pilot projects, low margin work, stuff like that. And eventually, we started getting, especially in the space of, I would say, the ERP implementation and transformation, we started getting some good deals in terms of enabling people with the functional training as well as the customized, I would say, technology training.
Uh,
That kicked in. And with AI coming in, we've been having some very interesting discussions. We've done a few pilots as well,
okay.
and that's where I would say of late, we have been getting a lot of traction in terms of, I would say, things like skill intelligence and setting up workforce strategy,
Yeah.
as well as obviously a curriculum or pathways to support the AI transition itself. That's working out.
Okay.
So those that has been the journey. I think the initial few days it took us time to settle in. We are bootstrapped originally, and have been still bootstrapped, which essentially means that we were a little flexible in terms of how we want to approach, and it allowed us to pivot quickly without much of bureaucracy or approvals needed, which was great.
Yeah. Got you. What's your so speaking of that, what are some of the, like, was it, did you guys use LinkedIn, or was it through word of mouth and references initially that you were able to generate your business?
Originally, yes, mostly it was word of mouth and references. People who I knew, I spoke to them. I shared what I'm doing. A lot of them were, I would say, were good ear about it, which essentially meant that they allowed meetings and stuff like that. But I think with that, what we also tried to figure out was essentially get feedback on our own offerings and helped to fine tune our own require or our services, the service set, to see that okay, these are the things which are their problem. So what problems can we solve? Like I just mentioned, like still skill intelligence. Like most of the organizations, they have talent, they have people, and they know that broadly they are aligned to these roles, but do they exactly have a very good view of what skill set they have, what capabilities they have? Not really. In most cases, the moment we had some of these questions, like, do you know how many people in your organization are AI compliant or certified, or not just AI, but for your core business services, how many people do you know have a solid certification? Most people had, like, you would see them scramble for information. That set the tone, which is essentially getting started with the baselining of strategy, building strategy, building, I would say, to be state, which allows you to say that okay, this is where we are, this is what we want, how do we get there? And that's all the services that fills in the gap. But yeah, so most importantly, it is from here to there. How do we get, and all of those things. Those initial conversations were all based on references, because I think for any consulting company, I mean, I think unless you are like the KPMGs of the world, or the big fives, you need some kind of credibility, and that credibility only comes from people who you have worked with. So that's really helped me get some initial breakthroughs.
Got you. So what is your plan for the for next year? How do you plan to scale and expand? What other than references? What do you think would be a successful or has worked for you?
So we've been investing in building a business development team. In the back end, we had invested in using LinkedIn a little more than what initially we were using. We've basically got, I would say, the LinkedIn navigators and skill intelligence there, which is available.
Yeah.
So we've been starting to use that. But more importantly, I think what we have realized is collaboration, which is some of the companies which have complementary services, which not be, I mean, they may not be providing, but they have access to customers where we can jointly go and pitch, or if the customers have something which we can provide as a combined team. That has actually worked really well, and that's something that we want to dial up for the next year. Because there are multiple of our partners that we have worked with. They have their own set of customers already. They have invested in their own business development infrastructure, and we want to maximize that in collaborating with them to reach out to their customers to solve their problems and help, I would say, a bigger pie of the business. So it's a balance of both, I would say, doing it a little bit of in-house, but more collaboration with like-minded partners to get to the bigger piece of the pie.
Got you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. If audience would like to reach out to you, if you can share your social channels.
Sure. Yeah. Please do reach out to me on LinkedIn, which is Karn J Singh. J is in between, which is Jeet. My original name is Karan Jeet Singh, but obviously too long for these times. Otherwise, you should also go to our website, which is VRAMHA, which is Vramha.com. We'd love your feedback. Please write to us. There is email ID information as well as phone number for you to reach out to us on. And we certainly want to see if we can get more customers and more partners as well. And if we can solve any problem for you related to talent, related to reskilling, upskilling, or training in general, we would love to be your partner of choice, if I can see that.
Thank you for your time today. Uh, Thanks.
Thank you so much, Nilanjan. It was wonderful talking to you, and I hope your world or your network also grows, and hopefully you reach out to a lot more people in future.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Likewise.